Well, it certainly feels like a sleepy little place. I'm not seeing much sign of life. I could have accidentally just come to like a really quiet place. But I don't know, looks nice though, looks like a nice spot. It's always so funny when I've been looking at a place on Google Maps all morning and then I arrive here. I'm suddenly here in the real life. It's a bit like entering a video game. Wow, okay, I can see a little pedestrian only area and there's people on it, so that's a good sign. Looks like a nice place. Very quaint, old buildings with character. I like it. Will it be any good for busking? There's only one way to find out, isn't there? Bicester. That's how you pronounce the name of this place. Not Bicester, Bicester. The English language is weird, isn't it? So today we're not only going to be busking here in this sleepy little town. Hopefully it gets a little busier as time goes on. But we're also going to be discussing some of the questions I've been getting recently are a lot to do with how to become a full-time musician. And something that I've managed to achieve in my life. It came much more simply than I thought it would. It was always me making it really complicated. So today I'm going to sort of discuss a trajectory, a way to kind of get yourself together as a full-time musician, because it is a lot more simple than you might think. And we're going to see what the town folk here think of ARP. Hopefully they enjoy it. One of the reasons my sticker pack has a sticker that says busking is the answer in it is because my biggest question throughout majority of my adult life was, how do I make a living as a full-time musician work? You know, without being in the top 1% of songwriters, of artists. And the answer hit me back in 2021 when I discovered busking. And that's why busking is the answer. And I think it's the perfect starting place, a gateway into what you want to achieve as a musician. If you start with busking, it's a very solid place to be. Yeah, this high street's a bit longer than I thought it would be. It's got a bit more to it. What's on in Bicester? Bicester. Me, ARP. ARP's on today, the 7th of August. Or whatever it is. Might be the 8th, I don't know. Yep, I think this will do. Perfect backdrop. Sheep Street. That's the name of this road, with the pedestrian only area on it. Shout out to whoever recommended me coming here. We'll see how it is, shall we? Whilst we discuss our trajectory to become a full-time musician. Achieve all the dreams you've ever wanted to achieve. I am living my dream, and I can only make these videos to try and help inspire and help others to achieve their dreams too. It's plenty busy here. I think we're going to be okay. Everybody's journey will look different when it comes to pursuing music. But I genuinely think busking is a great place to start, or at least add it into your plan. It's just so many benefits. Beyond the sort of like a way to make a living, there's just so much good that will come of a regular bus that will set you on a really great path to the future of whatever you want to achieve in music. It's songwriting, session playing, production, performance, even making YouTube videos and being like an online influencer or something. It does wonders for so many things. Even if you want to put on events. I know some great buskers who are also event organisers who use busking as a way to, you know, promote their events, to book artists for their events. It's brilliant. It's just so good. Who'd have thought it, eh? The humble street musician. You know, you start playing an instrument, maybe you start singing, you build up a little set, you take it out to the streets, you get yourself some equipment to do so. That set builds up to an hour, to 2 hours, to 3 hours. You know, that process alone, just of beginning your busking journey, developing a set, getting out there, rehearsing all the time, because you're playing all the time on the streets. This is your rehearsal. And then inevitably you're going to be seen by bar managers and people that own venues, pubs, clubs. And before you know it, you'll be getting booked to play gigs. Paid gigs. And that whole process is going to teach you so many things that will be useful for your, you know, future career, whether that career remains in those kind of pub gig mode, whether it remains as a busker, or whether it goes on to other things. So here it is then, a day of busking in Bicester with August Radio Project's recommended trajectory on how to have a full-time career as a musician. And like I said earlier, it's actually a lot easier than you think. Please don't rain. Not today, come on. Oh, morning, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Remember busking down on Brighton Beach.
It started raining, and started raining properly. Oh, one of those days, is it? I need to get my waterproof system on the go. Action plan for when it rains. If it's spitting, get out your bag cover, put it on your amp, carry on playing. If it starts actually raining, pack your gear away. Once gear's packed away to the point where all the important stuff is being covered, check the weather forecast to see when it's supposed to stop. If it's supposed to stop soon, stay put. If it's not just supposed to stop for ages, find a place where you can set up in the dry. And if you can't find a place to set up in the dry, go to the coffee shop, buy yourself a warm drink. Don't worry about it, don't stress. Okay, the good news says it stops in half an hour. It also kind of feels like it's stopping already.
Summer afternoon in the August heat, oh man, we had to make it work. Oh no.
Back when I first started this whole music as a full-time gig, busking, mainly bringing in the money to pay the bills, a rainy day would scare me, freak me out, make me feel like I'm not gonna have enough to get by that month. And what's happened over the years is I've learned to relax during those times. More than anything, because the other areas of my music career have built up, so I no longer have to rely solely on busking. It's still very much busking is the majority of how I make this work, but there's loads more gigs now. Even YouTube and Patreon have a tiny contribution. And I guess that's my point to what I'm going to sort of say today is busking isn't necessarily the way to make it work. It's the way to make it work in the beginning and a gateway to going on to other things that will make it work in the long run.
We had to make it work. Oh no. When I think about it now, how it's all worked out continues to work itself.
So the first thing you've got to do is get yourself out busking, as I already said. That is your gateway, that is your stepping stone into this life. And you can get out busking whilst you still have a day job, you can get out busking whilst you're a student, whatever it is. If you've got some savings that you could maybe live without worry about paying rent for a couple of months, then maybe just quit the day job and go for it. Take a couple of months to see if you can make it work. The point is to get out there busking and work out roughly on average how much you kind of make on a day.
Community, it means so much to me. Now there's nowhere I would rather be. Oh.
Now obviously I have some tips and tricks, as do many other people online, about how to make a bit more if you're finding your donations to be quite low. What you're trying to get at here is just like a rough average. For most people, most buskers, I'd say it's anything between 50 and 150 pound a day, depending on where you are and how good you are, and not necessarily your level of experience, but like your act. There's many variables there. It doesn't really matter what it is, you just need the rough number. Once you've done that, it's time to get your spreadsheet out. Time to do some maths.
No rain.
So, I've said this before in a video. If you want to make a living doing anything, you need to calculate the exact amount you need to make in order to make a living. So what you need to do is figure out how much it costs you to exist. And the best way to do this is to get a spreadsheet or Excel spreadsheet or something like that. Get your bank accounts open and write down everything you've spent over the last year. Go to a year, to the exact date to this date, a year ago, and go through everything you've spent.
I don't care where I belong no more. What we share or no doubt we'll ignore.
Now, you might notice when you do this that there are areas that you are needlessly spending in. And from my own experience, needless spending is usually a byproduct of living a life that you're not quite satisfied with. So when you start living a life that you do align with, that you do feel satisfied with, there's a lot of needless spending that goes away because you don't feel the need to kind of satisfy the void with buying things, because the void is very much satisfied with the fact that you're living your dream. So see where you can get this figure lower. The lower the better, obviously, but you don't want to be living really skimp. You know, give yourself a few luxuries, some of the things that you don't want to compromise on. And this is the figure that you've got to try and create with music.
Now won't waste my time fitting in, 'cause I don't think contrast is a sin.
Hopefully you've already started busking at this point, so you roughly know how often you might need to go busking. And then from there, you can start expanding to gigs. Now don't worry, you don't need to be an entrepreneur to get gigs, you don't need to be hustling around all the venues. If you busk enough, I guarantee you'll start getting offered gigs. And you can charge for these gigs. I've got a whole video about it. Busking also offers you all this time in between when you're out on the street to work on the other areas of your music career. So if it is a session guitar player that you want to become, then you can start learning parts, you can start perfecting your sight reading skills. If it's a songwriter you want to become, you can work on your songwriting, you can write songs. All the while, your main chunk of the day when you're earning money, like busking, you're playing music, you're rehearsing, you're thinking, you're learning to work the crowd, you're learning to perform. And even when you start getting offered gigs, right, those gigs translate so well to everything else in music. Learning how to hold a crowd, learning how to play to a room of people who are ignoring you, learning how to negotiate getting paid. These are all really useful skills that transfer to every other area of a music career. Cheers. This is, this is just what I call myself, August Radio Project.
August Radio Project?
Yeah, but it's, I have a YouTube channel that's all about being a musician, I guess.
Oh, is that
so
right?
that's kind of the thing.
A moment of clarity.
So once you've calculated your living costs and you've figured out maybe you could make it work, that's the time to take the plunge. This is where you got to find it within yourself to just go for it. This is where you got to use all that faith that you will figure it out. Because it's scary to like plunge in.
Nobody else need. I don't wanna be part of that scene. If I'm barking like a dog, 'cause I refuse to be a sheep. Yeah, I'm barking like a dog, 'cause I refuse to be a sheep.
Okay, what's your name?
Ben is my name.
And where are you on YouTube?
It's called August Radio Project.
August Radio.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Look that up, you'll find me.
All right, mate.
Oh man, what was your name?
Dennis.
Dennis, good to
Yeah.
meet you.
Yeah, God bless you, mate.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, see you soon.
Appreciate it. Lovely people here in Bicester. It's actually really nice here as well. Very nice, peaceful vibe. Busy though, plenty of people, plenty of folks. But it's just the buildings are really nice, like. But yes, this is where you're gonna take the plunge. You're gonna take the plunge. You're gonna do it. This is the scary bit. I must say, for this part, where you take the plunge, don't expect it to work straight away. Or even if it does, it's gonna come in waves. There's gonna be months where you're on top of it all. There's gonna be months where you're not even sure if it's ever gonna work ever again. And that's the turbulence you've gotta ride.
Now the difference between you and me is
For the first maybe 2 years of this journey, I found that turbulence very hard to cope with, and then it started to ease off in the sort of 3rd year, and now I'm at this point where there's enough in place where I really don't have to worry too much. I'm still figuring some things out, and it still comes in waves. There is still turbulence. But yes, this is your time to shine. Go out there, take the plunge. Even if you set yourself a time limit, just give yourself a year. This is life. What else are you gonna do? You've got this one shot, this one opportunity to make it happen. And if you have the opportunity, then it isn't even a question, it's an obligation. You have to pursue your dreams. You have to pursue what lights you up, because that in turn makes the world a better place. There you go, there's your inspiration.
Thank you so much. Somebody once told me what was gonna roll me.
I think like once you're up and running as a full-time musician that's using busking and maybe function work in a way to pay your bills, that's when you've got the ultimate day job for a musician. That's when all of your other activities outside of busking and function gigs should be dedicated towards the sort of bigger goal. But the thing with busking and function gigs is if the bigger goal is to do with music, which it should be because you want to be a full-time musician, then you can think about your bigger goal whilst you're busking and doing your function gigs. So like if you want to be an originals artist, an independent artist, you want to, you know, go on to be selling out Wembley Arena, or I don't know, just playing some humble clubs. The songs you write and then release, you can play them whilst busking, you can play them in your functions gigs, stick them into the set. If you're looking to be a songwriter, you can network with fellow buskers and maybe start collaborating and songwriting. You can play the songs that you're writing in your sets. You can even advertise it on your social media or on your busking sign, whatever you want to do. This is the bit where you kind of have to just dial in and also use this new day job you've got, the musician day job of being a musician, to your advantage. You use it to your advantage.
Na 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 na.
Use the opportunities that come with it to your advantage, because it will present you some rad opportunities. You've got to show up to them. Bicester, lovely place. I am fatiguing really badly. By the way, I've never been here before. I don't know if I've already said that. This is my first time. It's very, very pleasant. If I was local to here, I'd definitely make this a regular spot. And it's really busy as well. Heaps busy on a Wednesday in August. I love it.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on good. Play no bag, lead easy, go. Only shooting stars make the moon.
There's so many friendly people here. I've had some great conversations. I was speaking to a guy called Luke. Shout out Luke. He plays in bootleg Led Zeppelin, or bootleg Zeppelin, the Led Zeppelin tribute band. He was telling me that there's actually quite a good little scene here. A couple of pubs have open mics and they put on gigs and stuff. So good to know. See, you set yourself up in the street, busk, and before you know it, you've got a network. Before you know it, you've got gigs. And before you know it, you're a full-time musician. And then if you work on those other areas, your songwriting, your YouTube channel, your independent artist trajectory, before you know where you are, you'll be playing Wembley. It's just about following that intuition, man. Great things happen when you do. Right, I think it's time to pack up because there's some characters who have just appeared. And also I'm feeling really fatigued. Seeing as I didn't walk all the way down this street earlier, I may as well do it now. Just have a look. This is where I was going to go if the rain had persisted. little shelter that could have worked. There was a van parked there when the rain started, so I just decided to stay put. It's a really nice place, really lovely looking place, like all traditional, old buildings. Yeah, really beautiful. So this is actually, oh, this really rad building here is actually the pub that I was advised to go to for live music, open mics, potential gigs. It's a really cool looking pub. Oh, look at that for a building, man. That building's got some history. There's some stories in those walls. So this sheep street here, it's a pedestrian only zone. So your busking opportunities are all just along this street really. And you could probably fit 2 buskers at either end. But I feel like this is such a small town that I'm not sure it would be worth it. If you show up here and there's already a busker here, or 2 of you show up at the same time, my advice would be to take it in shifts. Because I don't know if there's enough people to go around. Although it is busy. It's a really cool place. I like it. I will 100% return when I'm next passing through this way. Right, let's get out of here, man. I used to think that pursuing your dream was somewhat a selfish act. You know, while the world's got all these problems going on, and you know, you could be helping that, you could be doing things to contribute to the aid of all that. Instead, you're like, you know, pursuing this dream to become a musician, or, you know, insert your dream here. And then somewhere along the lines, I realized that it isn't a selfish act at all. It's actually the opposite. It's a selfless act. And it was that realization, when that flipped in my head, that really made me go after this. And the reason it's a selfless act is that by going after your dreams, by going after your truth, what you feel called to do with your life, when you're on that path, you don't even have to have achieved the dream. Once you're on the path to pursuing the dream, you feel more aligned with life. And that gets rid of your angst and your existential dread. Yeah, sure, you still have some moments, but on the whole, you feel excited to be alive. You feel happier, and that in turn makes you a better human, which gives you more compassion, more kindness. When you see other people in that angst, in that anxiety, instead of meeting them with the same energy, with that same angst and causing friction, you feel empathic towards them. And you're like, oh, you're just frustrated because you're not aligned with life. And if more of us operate from that place of compassion because we are following our truth, then the world becomes a better place. When you live a life that's true to you, you're a better human, and you become somebody that people want to be around, that people enjoy the company of. And you can see it when people approach you in the street and they come over, hey, how's it going? And then you're all enthusiastic and you're feeling good because you're pursuing your dream, and they get a bit of buzz off it and they're like, oh, yeah, this is cool. Just that guy Luke there, we were talking about releasing original music, which is like a big subject at the moment for me because I'm releasing an album this year. Woo! And he was just saying, oh, you know, I've got all these songs and I've never released them. You know, like some of them are 20 years old. But then he came away from the conversation like, yes, live the dream. And it was like, yeah, I'm trying to project that energy. I'm not even trying to project that energy. That energy seems to just rub off because that's what I'm doing. And if more of us are doing that, the world becomes a better place. There you go, pursue your dream, save the world. Bicester, nice place. I actually really like it here. Very like quaint, small, quiet, but like very appreciative. I like that. It was a 105.75 was the total. So pretty good. I'm going to hand you over to Future Me for some updates regarding album releases and things like this. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this one. Over to Future Me. Well, Future Me, Not in the building, but outside some buildings. I hope you enjoyed the video you've just watched. And yeah, Bicester, nice place. Weird pronunciation, not Bicester, Bicester. Updates, what have I got to tell you? I can tell you that the mixes are mixed. So album track-wise is ready, which is kind of bonkers to say. I have been spending my time this week getting together the album artwork. So hopefully, next week I can announce the pre-order link so we can start getting the show on the road. But yeah, that requires me getting some stuff ready. For you Patreon folks, or anyone that's thinking about signing up for Patreon, I'll be posting the update number 2 of this album journey this week too. So you'll get a lot more information if you become a true fan on the Patreon page. If you like this video though, hit like, subscribe if you're new around here, turn the notifications on so you don't miss a video. If you want to leave me an online donation, then use the super thanks button. As said, have a look at the Patreon. If you feel like supporting on like a monthly basis, then that's the place to do it. I'm August Radio Project. I make videos that come out every Monday, and I'll see you next week. Until then, peace, love and happiness. Go live your dreams.